from the data that I've looked at when it comes to layer ones and also with dexes, it's a little bit harder with dexes because they don't not necessarily have like an ICO face. A lot of them didn't. But from the data that I was looking at is that most layer ones, apart from Binance, the all-time low was always higher than the ICO price, or user sacrifice price, if you want to call it that. And so I think people really need to be careful and cautious with, especially if they're in the first 10 days of what their sacrifice price was, and just know that it's probably the best possible opportunity. Now, Binance did do an all-time low that was lower than the ICO initial price, but I don't know. I think a lot of people maybe are just quick to pull the trigger a little bit instead of watching it play out, and maybe they're a little bit like keen, and they get kind of overwhelmed with the emotion of maybe the moment. And I think, and a lot of people say, well, I'm going to ride it through. I'm going to be able to get up to this amount or whatever. But I think once people see like 100x on their it's much easier to say it on a test version. But then when you see it in reality and you're in that moment and you click that red button and it's going to be X amount on the screen, it's very, very different to be able to hold on and maybe look for that 1000x or whatever. I've said to a few guys as well, I've said, maybe you want to switch up your strategy a little bit. So let's say you're looking for, I don't know, 100x. Maybe you want to be looking at 92x instead of 100x, because everyone has that number in their head. They'll remember, oh, okay, the sacrifice price was 0.0001.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm cashing out at 100x. And how many people are probably going to do that at that price point? So it comes to kind of numbers and the psychology of human beings. When we get to $1 hex, I'm sure there's going to be a big dump off, right? Because we go past the psychological barrier of that dollar amount. So it's interesting to see how it'll play out. For me, I'm just going to stay calm. I'm just going to stay relaxed. I see kind of everything that I've sacrificed for now as untouchable money, as per se. And I see everything that I'm going to be putting in as things that I want to be trying to, time the dips, basically. Particularly from data I'm looking at, particularly with layer ones, 3-month mark is typically where we see the all-time low in most layer ones. So that is the area that I'm looking to get into, and I'm going to be watching it very, very sharply. But at the same time, all that I'm going to be using is the dry powder that I have, not playing around with any of the sacrifices that I have already.